All right, welcome back for another deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at something that I think a lot of people have probably wondered about at one point or another. Can green tea actually help with cedar pollen allergies?
Yeah, I think especially as we kind of head into the spring allergy season, it's a pretty timely topic.
For sure. And to kind of dig into this, we've got two sources. We're going to be looking at a recent research article straight from the Journal of Nutritional Science. And then we're also going to be looking at how the allergy website, Hey Allergy, kind of broke this down for us.
Perfect.
Yeah. So the research article highlights a pretty interesting finding. So they did a study of over 16,000 people in Japan, and it turns out the people who drank green tea daily were less likely to test positive for cedar pollen-specific IgE antibodies.
Okay.
And those IgE antibodies are basically like little red flags in our immune system.
Gotcha.
They basically signal that the body's like, hey, I'm sensitized to this allergen, which in this case, cedar pollen.
Now, cedar pollen allergies are a really big problem in Japan. Actually, the Hey Allergy article, it points out that like 1 in 3 people in Japan are affected by this.
Wow.
And this study was actually conducted in the Tohoku region, which is known for having like especially high pollen levels.
Oh, wow.
So pretty relevant.
Yeah, 1 in 3 people. That's a lot. Okay, so going back to the study, though, the fact that green tea drinkers, had fewer of these IgE antibodies is pretty promising.
Right.
But, like, the real question is why? What is it about green tea that could be contributing to this effect?
Well, I think that a lot of it comes down to these natural compounds that are found in green tea. They're called catechins.
Catechins.
Yeah.
I feel like I learned about those in a biology class years ago.
They're antioxidants. And some of them, in particular, one called epigallocatechin gallate, or EGCG for short,
Oh, okay.
has been shown to have anti-inflammatory and immune modulating properties.
So is the thinking that, like, these catechins are kind of calming down the immune system's reaction to the cedar pollen?
Yeah, that's kind of the theory.
Yeah.
You know, there's helping to put the brakes on that inflammatory response, which leads to all the classic allergy symptoms.
Okay.
The sneezing, the runny nose,
Right.
itchy eyes.
Makes sense. Now, the Hay Allergy article, they recommend 2 to 3 cups of green tea daily for maximum benefit.
Yeah.
Did the researchers kind of back that up?
It's interesting because they actually found that even just 1 cup a day showed some positive effects.
Hmm.
So, like, more isn't necessarily better. Drinking more than 7 cups didn't seem to provide any additional benefit. But I think the real takeaway for me was the consistency of the habit,
Okay.
So, like, incorporating it into your daily routine.
Gotcha.
That might be more important than trying to chug, a ton all at once.
Yeah, like having that daily ritual. Now, Hay Allergy also suggested starting this green tea routine before cedar pollen season even hits.
Right.
And then just maintaining it year-round.
Yeah.
Which I can definitely see the logic there. Kind of like giving your immune system a head start in the fight against pollen.
Absolutely. And if we think about this from like a scientific perspective, it makes sense that consistently taking in those beneficial catechins
Right.
would help to kind of keep the immune system in a more balanced state overall,
Yeah.
and less likely to freak out when those first pollen grains start flying.
Right. But, I mean, even though green tea is showing some promise here, both the study and the Hay Allergy article, they both emphasize that this isn't like a miracle cure.
No.
It's not like you drink green tea and suddenly, poof, no more allergies.
Yeah, definitely approach it as one part of a broader strategy
Okay.
for managing allergies. I mean, there's lots of other tools in the allergy management toolbox.
Yeah.
And we'll definitely get into some of those a bit later.
Okay, so before we move on to those other tools, though, I am kind of curious about something. So this study focused specifically on cedar pollen allergies.
Right.
Do you think these findings might have, like, implications for other types of allergies, like, say, ragweed or dust mites or things like that?
That is a great question.
Yeah.
And it's one that I think researchers are still like trying to figure out.
Right.
This particular study didn't address those other allergens, but the underlying mechanisms behind green tea's potential benefits,
Right.
the anti-inflammatory and immune modulating effects of catechins, it does suggest that it could be worth, investigating further.
So it's not like we can say for sure that it will have the same impact on other allergies, but there's a possibility.
Exactly. Yeah. A lot more research to be done, but I think it definitely opens up some pretty exciting avenues for exploring like how dietary choices, and green tea in particular, can play a role in overall immune health and allergy management.
Okay. I'm with you on that. Now, green tea, That seems like a pretty gentle approach to kind of managing these symptoms.
Right.
But there are also some more targeted therapies out there. Specifically, I was curious about this sublingual immunotherapy, which was briefly mentioned in the Hay Allergy article. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So sublingual immunotherapy, sometimes it's also called allergy drops, is a very different approach.
Okay.
You know, it doesn't just try to manage symptoms, it actually targets the underlying cause of the allergy
Oh, wow.
by retraining the immune system to basically tolerate the allergen,
Okay.
which in this case is cedar pollen. So it actually targets the underlying cause of the allergy by retraining the immune system to basically tolerate the allergen, which in this case is cedar pollen.
So instead of just like masking the symptoms, it's like teaching your body to be like, hey, it's just cedar pollen. No need to like freak out.
That's a great way to think about it, yeah.
Okay.
So it's a long-term solution that can lead to like lasting relief.
Oh, okay.
And the way it works is you take like very small, very controlled doses of cedar pollen extract,
Okay.
typically in the form of drops that are placed under the tongue.
So tiny drops of the very thing that triggers the allergy.
Yeah.
That seems kind of counterintuitive.
I know, right? It
Yeah.
sounds a little strange.
Yeah.
But the idea is to gradually desensitize the immune system. By introducing these tiny measured doses over time, the immune system starts to recognize the cedar pollen as less of a threat.
So kind of like, I don't know, slowly introducing a new food to a picky eater.
Uh-huh.
Like you start with just the taste and then you gradually increase the amount until they're comfortable with it.
That's a really good analogy.
Okay.
It's about slowly building up tolerance. And the nice thing about sublingual immunotherapy is that it's usually done daily at home.
Oh, wow.
So no need for like frequent doctor's visits or shots or anything.
Yeah, that's definitely a plus for convenience.
Yeah,
Now, the Hay Allergy article mentioned that it's considered safe for both children and adults.
right.
But how long does this process usually take to see results?
So it's not an instant fix.
Mm.
It typically takes several months of consistent treatment to start noticing like a significant reduction in symptoms.
Gotcha.
However, with continued treatment,
Mm.
a lot of people experience long-term relief, even to the point where they may not need any additional medication during allergy season.
Oh, wow. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So we've got green tea, which seems to offer a more gentle approach to managing symptoms.
Huh.
And then we have sublingual immunotherapy, which aims for this long-term desensitization.
Right.
I can't help but wonder if combining the two could be even more effective. Like, could drinking green tea while undergoing immunotherapy maybe enhance the results?
I mean, that's a really fascinating question. And to be honest with you, I don't know if there's been research specifically on that combination,
Okay.
but it's definitely plausible.
Yeah.
The green tea could help manage symptoms and support like overall immune balance,
Right.
while the immunotherapy is working on retraining the immune system at a deeper level.
So it's like a two-pronged attack
Yeah, exactly.
on those cedar pollen allergies.
Uh-huh.
It'd be interesting to see some research on those combined effects.
I agree.
Maybe that's a future deep dive topic.
Yeah, I would love to see that research.
Yeah.
I think it speaks to this bigger picture here, which is that there isn't necessarily a one-size-fits-all solution when it comes to allergies.
For sure.
You know, there are all these different approaches, and what works best for one person might not be the best fit for another.
Right. And that's why, as both the study and the Hay Allergy article emphasized, like consulting with a healthcare professional,
Absolutely.
ideally a board-certified allergist, is so important. They
Yeah.
can help you figure out the best course of action based on your individual needs and medical history.
Exactly. They can do tests to really pinpoint your specific allergens,
Right.
assess the severity of your allergies, and then recommend the most appropriate treatment plan.
The Hay Allergy article also mentioned their telemedicine services,
Yeah.
which seem like a great option for people who maybe don't have easy access to an allergist, or for those who just prefer the convenience of, virtual appointment. Telemedicine has definitely made specialized care more accessible, which is fantastic.
Totally. Okay, so to kind of wrap up this part of our discussion,
Yeah.
it seems like the key takeaways are this. While green tea shows potential for managing symptoms and supporting immune health,
Mm-hmm.
it's not a magic bullet.
Right.
Sublingual immunotherapy offers a more targeted approach to desensitizing the immune system,
Yeah.
but it's a long-term commitment.
It is.
And ultimately, the best approach is to consult with a healthcare professional to figure out the best personalized plan for you.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Now, before we wrap up our deep dive completely, I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier.
Okay.
This idea that there's not a one-size-fits-all solution to allergies.
Mm.
This whole conversation about green tea and its potential impact on the immune system has really got me thinking. This whole conversation about green tea and its potential impact on the immune system has really got me thinking, could other dietary choices also play a role in managing allergies? Oh, absolutely. And it's an area that I think really needs a lot more research.
Yeah.
We often think about allergies as something that we inherit or develop, early in life.
Right.
But what if what we eat could actually influence how our immune system responds to those allergens?
It's kind of like we're not just passive bystanders in this whole allergy situation. We
Right.
actually might have some control
Yeah,
over how our body reacts
for sure.
through what we choose to, put into our bodies.
Exactly. Think about it, our gut microbiome.
Right.
That complex ecosystem of bacteria that live in our digestive tracts,
Wow.
that plays a critical role in immune function.
Right.
And guess what? Our diet has a huge impact on the composition and the health of that microbiome.
So if we're making conscious choices about what we eat, we could be shaping our immune system's response
Yeah,
to things like pollen or dust mites or whatever.
absolutely.
That's like kind of amazing to think about.
It really is. It opens up this whole new avenue, I think, for personalized allergy management.
Yeah.
Imagine a future where, like, dietary recommendations
Right.
could be tailored to an individual's specific allergy profile
Wow.
and their gut microbiome composition.
That's a future I want to live in.
I know, me too.
It's not just about popping pills
Yep.
or relying solely on, medical interventions.
Right.
It's about empowering people to take a proactive role
Exactly.
in managing their allergies through lifestyle choices, including what they eat.
Couldn't agree more. And I think this deep dive into green tea and cedar pollen allergies has kind of done just that.
Right.
It's introduced a potentially helpful natural remedy,
Uh-huh.
but it's also, I think, sparked a broader conversation about the really complex connection between our diet and our immune health.
And that's what we're all about here on the deep dive, isn't it?
It is.
Taking these questions or these topics and just really going deep, exploring the science, the research, the different perspectives,
Absolutely.
and hopefully in the process, inspiring you, our listeners, to keep exploring, questioning, learning.
Well said.
So to our listeners, we leave you with this challenge. Think about your own diet. Are there any changes you could make that might support your immune system and potentially even influence your allergy responses? It's a journey of discovery, and we encourage you to embrace it.